before that, I've got to circle back around because
Yeah,
someone
I
will
mean, it's all
kill me.
connected.
Yeah. Okay, so you're working on what now?
I'm juggling so many things. So I have one indie film um called TE AMO, and it's about four friends. They reunite on a trip to Spain. Um and it's very character driven, it's very human. And that, like, that as a script for that, I'm doing lots of meetings for that, like it has most of the cast attached tentatively. Amazing cast that you guys would love. Trust me. Um, but yeah, it's difficult. It's proving really difficult to get the funding to make it. And I haven't put it into like the public sphere yet. Like I'm just having meetings with production companies and stuff, and and funding bodies, and seeing who's interested and who might want to contribute to it. Um, Eventually, I think I will open it up to the public. Then I have another film, which is a amazing true story. Um, it's funny. I was literally chatting to the producer this morning. I was like, are we talking about this? Should I talk about this? And she was like, yeah, you can talk about it a little bit. So it's a period costume drama, true story about a bunch of amazing women who pretty much like fought for women's rights in Britain. Um, to the point where like they changed the laws. There was a riot. They're pre-suffragettes. They kind of helped lead to the suffragette movement. Um, and there's also kind of a queer like love story there as well, and it's amazing. And we're in like, for that I didn't write that one. I was approached by an awesome writer, Mary Claire, who'd seen Warrior Nun and Discovery of Witches, and was like, I need to meet Sarah Walker. Um, and I read her script and I thought it was great. And we did that thing. We did that thing of like, my agent was like, do you want to read the script? And I was really rubbish. I was like, I'm really busy with my own script. And eventually I was like, yeah, let me read it. And I read it. And yeah, like it was just brilliantly written, very classic storytelling. So we did a meeting and got very excited about the whole thing. And yeah, so now we're working together. And so with that, we're kind of going out to cast now, but that's a big movie. Like that's a tough movie to make, and we need to attach big names basically to get that off the ground. It's not something, because of the period costume element, and the sets and the production design. Um, and then I have, and I don't really mention this because it came, so, and this is kind of cool. I have a little short film that I'm making, and this has kind of come about from everything, kind of like all the content I've been consuming, and all these little indie filmmakers that I've been watching, like on the internet, since I've shifted kind of more towards indie film again. Um, so it's like a 10-minute short. It's a love story. It's about kind of about dating, but the way I've written it in a way, I had the whole idea. I had to do my accounts, and no one is a fan of doing their accounts, right? So I'm sat doing my accounts. It takes me at least a day, or if not two, and my brain's just like accounts. So my brain starts being really creative suddenly, and just comes up with this idea in 10 minutes. So I wrote this cool little love story, and it's finished, and it's about to go out to actors. Um, and we're gonna try and make it like for as little money as possible, and it's total like before sunrise vibes. Um, and there may be some Warrior Nun alumni showing up in it, hopefully. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, definitely, I want them to if they want to. One of them has it. One of them is waiting for it. Um, but yeah, and it has like it has queer characters. It it's really just it's kind of a rom com with depth. Um, but I've written it in a way that it would go to short film festivals. But once it had done that, I've written it in a way that I'm kind of looking at how people are consuming content, and people are consuming shorter and shorter content. Like some people will sit down and watch a film or watch 2 episodes or something, but a lot of people every day at work, they just go on their phone and watch a thing. I don't know if you guys know about this thing called vertical dramas. Okay, this is a thing. This is massive. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are into filmmaking or just worrying on about. So people are now making these things called vertical dramas. So your phone, like, because it's so movies like play like that, right? But
Yeah.
verticals play like that. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're shooting them in portrait, not landscape, and they're very, very cheaply made. And in America, I think they weren't covered by SAG, which meant that the cost could be super low. But I think SAG are now going to get involved because people were being exploited or whatever. But apparently they I think there's a website where there's a bunch of websites where they air, and I think they're quite big in Asia. Like I think kind of that's where they started kind of coming out, and they're like 2 minutes, and then like loads of episodes. So it's a long story, but it's like 2 minutes a day comes out. So I was looking at with the short how I've written it in a way that it can come out in segments. So each day, like a kind of an act will be released. So you're at work, you can just take 2 minutes to be like, um, and the reason I'm talking about because it belongs to it's part of a bigger journey in that it's still the same thing where I want to get representation out there and I want to have female leads and I want to have queer characters and I want to have like people of color and and be telling their stories, even in like 2 minute little micro dramas, so that you're at work, it's your lunch hour, you're going to eat your sandwich and you're going to watch, oh my goodness, what happened today? Oh my God, he kissed that person and this is bad. And now she's got over there. You know what I mean? And each day and kind of just looking at different ways of delivering story. So that when you put it all together, you can watch it as a whole, but you can also watch it in these bits instead of just watching something that doesn't really give you anything. When you just, I don't know how many of you doom scroll. Do you doom scroll? I'm assuming all of you. We all doom scroll, right? It's terrible. So yeah, I've purposely written the short in that way. And I'm probably gonna do like a small crowdfunder for it. Everyone involved, I think, is gonna work on it for pretty much nothing, just because they wouldn't be part of it. And that's another part of the conversation I'm having, like where even though the industry is not in a great place, all the people I know that care about art and stories and representation, like for my film TE AMO, last year after I finished my first draft, I called a bunch of actor friends and I said, hey, like, none of us are doing anything. We're all kind of a bit disillusioned by the industry. Do you want to come do a read through? And everyone was like, yeah, absolutely. And like the actors that showed up to do a read through of my script, amazing actors. Like Mina Rayan or Renan, she came. She's one of them that you guys know. And she was brilliant and she was funny and she played a very different part to what she played in Renan. So like there is a real appetite for people that love stories and storytelling. They want to make these things, but then it's like it's our duty to make sure they get paid. You know what I mean? And not exploited. Because there is money. It just goes to very specific things.